I'm doing fine, thank you. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing well.
All right.
Good.
And we heard from Miss Cheryl. Okay. All right. Let's flip this around. All right. Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Stephanie Jackson. I am a creative chiropractor, a master educator, and a health and wellness coach. Tonight, we have our second part to our series on Forgiveness Heals. The whole purpose of us talking about forgiveness is that because the holidays are beginning, we are now in the holiday season. And I know that most of us, when we have these holiday interactions with family and friends, sometimes we don't always get along. So our hope is that tonight, as well with our last week's discussion, our hope is that tonight we will walk away with some thoughts, some ideas, some suggestions as to how to get through the holidays using forgiveness so that forgiveness can heal us. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to flip the camera around so that you can see and listen to some of our participants in our conversation. All right, we're gonna go ahead and flip this camera around here. All right, let's see if we can make this. Oh, hey, Mark, how you feeling?
I'm better.
You better? Last week you weren't feeling so good.
Nope.
Oh, but I'm glad that you're better. How's Kathy doing?
Doing fine. She's on another call tonight, but doing fine.
Okay, all right. Well, please tell her that we asked about her.
I sure will.
Okay, so tonight, we're going to continue our discussion on forgiveness and how important forgiveness is. And what I'd like for us to do, those of us who are here, what I'd like for us to do is to engage in our conversation and share some thoughts about what we can do for the holidays to, I guess, get past some of the grudges that we may have. Not that everybody does, but I know in my family, and I could go on forever about conversations of how the holidays sometimes could tend to feel a little, I guess, rugged, for lack of a harsher word. How the holidays would just feel kind of tough and rough, especially if you did not get along with, say, a family member. How you felt. And so tonight we're going to first, again, redefine the term forgiveness and what forgiveness is. According to our research, forgiveness, according to Dr. Fred Luskin, forgiveness is the creation of peace in the present. That might sound really lofty, but what it is basically is forgiveness is a solution to many of the problems that we may have, especially with interacting and dealing with family members, all right, or with friends. Forgiveness, when we talk about forgiveness, we are the ones that we are the ones sometimes that creates this lack of peace. So when we think about forgiveness, basically what it is that someone offends us and we get in our feelings, and then we either can retaliate against them, we can either ignore them, we can either respond to them, but we're definitely in our feelings about something. And so when we decide that we're going to forgive them, we're actually letting go, we're actually releasing whatever the feelings that we had on the inside. All right, so I have a few questions to ask, and then I will give an example of how we can deal with forgiveness. So can anyone volunteer and share with us your experience with forgiveness? And it could be an opportunity or a time that you've had to forgive someone for something they did, especially during the holidays. It could be a family member, as I mentioned. It could be a friend. Can we think of an example of when we had to offer or extend forgiveness to someone?
So I'm good for talking. I don't mind. Mine was a case where it was one of my best friends. He's just like a brother to me. and we had a real bad argument with each other. And so for a whole entire year, we didn't speak to each other.
Oh no.
My forgiveness came from my wife encouraging me to actually end the argument with my friend, to actually reach out to him. It was interesting when I reached out to him, he actually is in the process of trying to reach out to me as well. And the part about it was so crazy was that the argument was something we couldn't even remember what we argued about, but we turned it personal because we started holding our own grudges instead of actually just trying to figure out what we were actually arguing about.
And I was going to ask, are there some people that we feel that we can forgive more quicker than others?
You can, but it seems to be the ones who are closest to you are the less likely the ones that you forgive quicker.
Oh my gosh, you are
I was
speaking
thinking the same thing.
What were you gonna say? What were you gonna say, Brother Hatem?
No, I was thinking the same thing. Those that are closest to us are the ones that usually get the forgiveness the latest. And, you hold on to it. Because you're expecting certain things.
Yes.
So then forgiveness is connected to expectations. Just to kind of put words in your mouth, is forgiveness connected to expectations?
It can be.
Right.
It can be, but it's because your expectations might be that you're the one at fault, but they should be the one to apologize.
Oh.
Because it's something they did to cause it to go this way in the first place.
Also, we're blaming someone else?
Yes.
Blame, shame, and guilt.
Yes, sir.
Blame, shame, and guilt. What kind of game is that?
Oh, that's called the game of humans.
Yes.
Or the expectation that you will not do what you did again. If I forgive you, I don't expect you to continue the behavior. So I expect a change.
And that's if we actually want to change.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true. That I'm a firm believer in that.
and I will add both parties, because that's what's the most uncomfortable, because in order for them to change certain behaviors, there are more than likely behaviors that you have to change as well. So you're going to hold on to that grudge because you might want to hold on to that thing that y'all fell out about in the first place.
Correct.
Self-accountability.
Because at some point you're supposed to actually, when you're forgiving someone, you're supposed to let it go completely. Do we? No, we don't. So we carry it for a long time.
Yeah.
And then actually it's almost like we got it as a tool in the back of our head. So when something comes up, I can throw it back at you too.
Ooh.
Guilty. I'm guilty. I was sitting here waiting. I was sitting here gonna say that. You put it in the back of your pocket like an ace in the hole.
Yep.
Honey. And my good friend, Reverend Pastor Dr. Sindab, I'm so glad that he's not on right now to testify to this, but he said it a couple times. Stephanie, you will hold stuff in and then you just pull it back out like it was a receipt. I'm like, I keep receipts. What are you saying? I'm a businesswoman. I gotta have my receipts. What's wrong with you?
But we keep receipts on the wrong things.
Correct.
Ooh.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? When it comes to us and those that we love, we keep some of the wrong receipts. That's not business. That's as they say in The Godfather, that's personal. That's not business.
Yes.
Oh man, y'all are hitting me over the head here.
But it ain't just you, because I mean, a lot of women. I mean, because I'm just saying, a lot of women hold on to shit. Well, how can they remember? I don't know what it is about the memory, but a lot women be remembering a lot of stuff that just.
Can I say this? To go with Brother Hatem, I've always told my wife this. Women got the brain of elephants. Elephants have the greatest memory in the world, but they remember what they want to remember.
And what's wrong with that? What is wrong with that?
Well, it's not.
I do agree with that, bro, because I will say there's a difference between forgiveness. Okay, so we're talking about forgiveness, or are we talking about apologies? Because, okay, so let me say it this way. How can I say it? So with women, they can be wrong and expect for you to apologize in order for the system to go back to where it was beforehand.
Wait a minute, let me just count here, because let me stop you right there. Because it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait a minute, wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men and 3 women on this call right here. Y'all ain't gonna win. Like, for real, let me take off my earrings, because this sounds like it's about to be a fight.
We're gonna let them have that.
We're gonna let them have. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
because I got something.
Okay. All right. Cheryl, you said you had something.
I thought Michael was going. I was gonna say with men they remember stuff, but they remember, I think, what really hurts them.
Oh.
So they don't forget that.
That's true.
Well, I agree with that 100%.
Well, yeah, no denial on the man side
At all. At all.
Okay. So then, Cheryl, tell us what it is that we remember. Then we remember everything.
Yeah, we remember everything.
Okay.
We remember
Cheryl.
everything.
Thank you, Cheryl.
I'm not in denial. We remember everything. And it can be an unspoken transgression.
Yes.
And then we tend to expect them to know that they have, that's a misstep or that bothers you. I'm big on communication.
And we ain't and this I ain't gonna say it's sad, but men are not wired like that.
No.
You know what I'm saying? For that for that stuff, that type of stuff, we're not wired for that. So if we do that, that is something that we have to consciously do, which is very hard and very energy consuming. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not how we do. Because I wouldn't be able to function as a man if I remember everything that transpired with me. It's a lot of hurts, a lot of physical hurts that as a man, I was told very simply, you got to get over that shit and keep it moving, homie.
Well, what's the old saying when you play sports? Man, walk that off.
Walk it off.
So I want to ask a question then. Do you think that how can we do this? If you all are taught to walk it off and walk away, then it sounds to me that you may be an easier species to forgive than, say, women. Well, could you all teach women to forgive in that way by telling us to walk it off? Or
I wouldn't even say it's necessarily even forgiving. It's more like I forgot that shit. Yeah. It's not forgiving.
I was gonna say that. It's more like they like he said, they forget and just go on to the next. We tend to hold on and remember.
Well, can I say this too? Because it's almost like women have actually keyed into their emotional levels at an early age. Men are taught to block that emotional level until certain times.
Well, you know what?
Which is key to survival. Which is the key to survival.
Yes.
You know, I'm gonna be quiet.
No, don't be quiet, because you said that women are wired a certain way and then men are wired a different way. I wanted to say that I was having a conversation with my daughter, and I was saying that even as a small child at an early age, we give our daughters these baby dolls, things that you have to nurture, things that you have to care for. So early on in life, you are given responsibility as a woman. You have to make sure that this baby is fed. You got to change the baby. You got to do this. This is a baby doll, right? So the baby alive baby dolls, those ones, the ones that look more realistic, we feel more responsible for. Whereas men, you're not given a baby doll. You're not given anything to, early on in life. You're not giving it, y'all giving toys, y'all giving trucks, y'all giving games. So y'all play y'all whole life. Like
one of the best gifts I ever got was a tool set.
See?
It taught me how to take control.
See, I mean, because think about this. Y'all don't be wanting no tender, caring, baby doll carrying man. Y'all don't want that. And that's not good for society. That's not what we was designed for.
Thank you.
We're designed to run into each other at 50 miles an hour in our youth. You know, we're designed to fight. We're designed to protect. We're designed to hunt. You know what I'm saying? You don't want no man carrying a baby. You can't track nothing down when you carrying a baby down. And if I'm constantly trying to nurture you, I don't think people, and I think that's where stuff is crazy for us now, because we think all of us are the same, but we're not. Nope. Men and women are not the same.
Right.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? We're humans. We're humans, and we serve certain roles that are important. Both of them are equally important, because the way a woman remembers makes it possible for her to be able to nurture, because she can remember the specific things that a child needs, and specific things that needs to keep the family relationship together. The man has to let some of that stuff go, because some of these same family members I might have to dispatch with. I might have to go to war with. I might, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's different.
Yep.
So the question then is, and we don't have to name names, but are there people still yet that we have to forgive, or are there people that we will never forgive? You know, because we're still in the lines of talking about forgiveness, and then the holidays, and then how the act of forgiveness can lead to healing. Are there people that we can forgive, that we should forgive, or that we'll never forgive? Like,
well, can I ask this first?
Yes.
What if you have a person who actually doesn't want to be forgiven?
Don't everybody want to be forgiven?
No.
You would think? I don't think so.
No.
Because sometimes you've actually, like, you try to make your way to working a situation out with someone, but they still want to carry the whole argument part of the process on. So how do you forgive a person who doesn't want to be forgiven?
So then they like the sport of arguing, would you say?
There are some people who operate in that sense. Some people operate in turmoil.
Yeah, they like fuckery and bitchcraft. That's what it's called.
Oh,
yes. Yes. So then that question is, there are people that you're never gonna forgive, because how can you forgive somebody, first of all, who doesn't want to be forgiven for anything? They don't think they did nothing wrong.
Well, yeah.
And there's also people who isolate themselves away from the actual premise of the argument or the situation. They're wrong. They know they're wrong. So what they'll do is, the argument's over, and they know normally Thursday night is poker night, Friday night, chill with the wife night, Saturday, chill with the fellas, Sunday, and they don't want to become a part of the process anymore. So what I tend to believe is that, and I'm guilty of this, I know I am, I weaponize myself. So I know the type of person that I am. I know what people rely on in relation to the type of person that I am, and I will remove them away. Excuse me, I will remove myself away from those individuals, for one, as a protest, and for two, as a disciplinary, especially if I feel like I was violated. So it's not that I don't want to be forgiven or I don't want to forgive. I just, if I feel like you were that wrong and you did me that much wrong, because let's look at it. So when we think about family, people know a lot of our secrets. When we think about ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, ex-husbands, ex-wives, they know a lot about our secrets. So when a person does something to you, I have in my pocket things that I know about you, you have in your pocket things that you know about me. So it becomes a chess game. And if I feel like I can't get my point across, because if I go to the left, you're going to say this. If I go to the right, you're going to say that. Then I'm not necessarily, the argument is still going to fester, and it's still going to be where it is, because there's chess moves. If I say this, then you're going to say, oh yeah, well, I remember when you did this. If I say that, then you say, oh yeah, I remember when you did that. So we're never going to get to the core part of where you violated me at and why you violated me, why you disrespected me. So it just becomes, I don't know, growing up in the hood is different because people from the hood are different than just typical situations. A person in the hood don't ask for forgiveness a lot of times. They don't. A person from the hood don't apologize. They just separate themselves for a while and then they just show up. So the remedy, there's never really, and that makes it even more volatile because the next time you screw me over, that's when the physical altercation situations happen. Because you got me this time and then I just, hey, all right, you show up, I hand you a beer. And then we never really talk about it anymore. Unless you just got that one person that just has to say something about it. And then that's when we get to talking about the situation. But if nobody intervenes and says anything, and then you do something else to me, I don't know, man. That's when it becomes volatile because I feel like at that point, you just really don't have any respect for me. So I'm not looking to forgive you at that point. It's probably just going to be war because you know too much. You know the ins and the outs and everything. I've told you things that, and then now we're not getting along together at all, period. I don't know. In the hood, you're just not communicable. People are signs and symbols. It's not about communication. Right. So I don't know how it is in the corporate sector, but I mean, I've worked closely with people, but it's just, I guess Black is just different. It's just, I don't know. It's just different. It's just hard, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I did it, I meant to do it. So I'm not looking for forgiveness. I meant to do that as a way to back you off from me or to let you know that you are abusing me. So I meant to do exactly what I did. So really, I'm not looking for an apology at all. To be honest with you, I'm just not.
What do y'all think about that? Because he brought up a lot of good, like you touched on a lot of stuff. You touched on the environment in which we live, or some of us live. You touched on the familial parts, like how family gets along. You also brought up a point of, because you mentioned the corporate sector, right? So why is it that my boss—
It's a bunch of mind games from what I'm told in the corporate section.
Yeah,
obviously nobody's going to bully anybody in the corporate section, right?
No.
So it's a bunch of mind games.
But
Well,
listen,
yeah, actually, there are bullies in the corporate
bullies.
sector.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
They're big time bullies.
I'm talking about as far as Suge Knight holding you over the balcony type, bullying type situation. I'm quite sure you know your craft that well. You can bully.
It's more on an intellectual level that they bully.
Right. They still hang you over, but it ain't physical like that. Like you said, it's a bunch of mind games, which can be worse.
It's enough to make you want to actually. You don't know what you want to do next day when you walk in the door. You don't know if you want to walk in and slap somebody in the face or just quit.
See, and so it seems that, and like you all have said, it makes sense to me that, or it would make sense to me that if this is my cousin and she and I have a disagreement, maybe we should try to resolve the issue, because this is my family, this is my blood. I love her. We grew up together. We stayed at grandma's house together, as opposed to Mr. Smith, who is my coworker or my boss. We have no connection at all.
Yes, you do.
Why is it easier for him? Why is it easier for me to be mad at my cousin than it is for me to be mad at Mr. Smith?
Because you and Mr. Smith have a mission together. See, we have family relations that are not guided towards anything. So what we family? What does that mean? Like he said, in the hood, what does it mean that we're family? Other than why? See, but we have to define it. See, because at the job, we have a mission. We have a goal that we have to achieve together. You understand what I'm saying? In the family, what's the goal?
Family.
Can I say this too? Can I say this too?
That's not a goal.
I'm sorry, Cheryl, real quick. The other issue is, who do you more likely gonna see on a day-to-day basis? Your coworker. So who you
Mhm.
want to try to get along with quicker? Your coworker. Family, you can actually not worry about seeing family for a time period because you don't have to see them every day. But if you're doing if it's your mainstream of support
Hold on.
for you and your family, you're gonna have to make different, you got to give different ways, give things a way to actually make it work.
See, I don't disagree, but I just wanted to say, I guess from a different vantage point, I don't see my cousins. Actually, I don't really have a lot of cousins, but I don't see my cousins every day. I would like to see them more often than I do per se, but I just personally feel like maybe we should have those conversations. Maybe we should treat our family, better than Mr. Smith. Because look, check it. Truth be told, if I really and truly needed something, and I was in a good space with my family, if I called my cousin and said, listen, my son needs diapers, I need $20. Could you give me $20? My cousin probably could give me the $20. If I asked I couldn't call Mr. Smith and say, Mr. Smith, at 2:00 in the morning, my son needs diapers, can you give me?
I know a frat, nigga. Which frat?
Why does he get more, why is he treated better rather?
Please.
Why should I care more about him? I mean,
Well,
I'm just
it's like Mark said, it's because I have to see this man every day, Monday through Friday, swing shift Saturday. I mean, inventory that Sunday. I mean, it's just, I have to see this person's face. Now, if it's established that me and this person don't get along together at all, and we just there for the job, then I still have to see him in some respects. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to know that I can put my coffee down. I want to be able to know that I can keep my food in the refrigerator. I don't have to worry about my cousin unless my cousin has access to my house like that. So it's just, to me, it's, I don't know, man.
It's mission oriented.
Sure. I'm sorry, Cheryl, what were you saying?
I'm gonna give y'all a story. I have a sister that I haven't spoke to in 3 years, and I mentally had a funeral for her based on how deep she cut me. And through this whole experience, I start realizing we give people more chances than they deserve in our life based on the title that they hold. Because what she did the last time was not the first time she did something to me. She had actually did something probably a few months before that. But my mother stayed on me and kept telling me that was my sister. When she's gone, that all we gonna have is each other, and basically wore me down. And I forgave her, only to 6 months later to just be cut to the core. And this was during the time my mother was sick and ultimately passed away. And I mentally forgave her in my head, but I have had no dealings, no nothing. When I said I had a mental funeral, I tell anyone when they ask me, I don't have a sister. That's how bad it hurt. And the forgiveness part, when they say, you have to forgive because it's for you. I forgave her in my mind, but my heart, I don't think I did it yet. Because she was older than me. And through all, whatever that went on, like when Stephanie, when you were talking about, if you picked up the phone and you needed $20, that would be me calling her. Always there at every accomplishment, everything for my kids. We drove across country for a graduation, everything. And as I look back on it, she just wanted a front seat waiting for a fall. It really wasn't, to support me or because I was her sister. She just wanted to be front and center at a fall. And that's where I'm at. And it's only 4 of us. And she's my only sister.
I think, go ahead, Steph.
No, I was going to say, Chris.
Yeah, I think we need to create the understanding of better and different. My relationships with my coworkers aren't better or worse, they're just different. So it may look better to someone else, but it really isn't. It's just different. I don't have the same level of investment emotionally in the people at work than I do with my family, maybe certain family members or friends or spouse. So I think we need to maybe change the wording and just say the relationship is different. So I don't have the expectation that anyone at work is going to care about me in reference to whether or not I have diapers for my son or not, but my family probably will. So there's a different emotional tie, which the reasons why it might seem like it's more intense, or because there's a heart attachment to it. And so I think that's just the only piece I kind of wanted to add to that. I'm jumping in the middle, so I don't know how it started. So,
Well, can I throw this into the game?
Yes.
The funniest one is that we have people around us who know that we have an issue with a family member. Are they trying to help us solve the issue, or are they enhancing the issue? Because you have some people sometimes actually putting their 2 cents in makes it worse. Because they'll quickly say, well, if it was me, it ain't you. Why would you even put that in there? Because like in a classroom setting, when there's a kid causing a problem in your class, is it the kid causing a problem in your class, or the people encouraging that person to cause problems in your class?
What I hear a lot of control, or people relinquishing their control. That's what I hear in a lot of the conversations tonight. Because no one can cause me to behave in a manner that's outside of my own moral and ethical code, my own compass. So there is no degree of reprisal that someone can make me do that's going to jeopardize the 3 things that I have going for me: my liberty, my life, and my livelihood. So no one can do anything to allow me to jeopardize that. No matter, you can't control me. So I hear a lot of control when we allow other people their actions to control what we do.
Well, that has a lot to do with confidence too, bro. I have to be confident to stand up 10 toes down in myself and not allow other people to break the type of man that I am. Some people aren't strong enough to be at the job where someone is emotionally aggressive. I think we all have. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, in relation to forgiveness, everybody know right from wrong, man. Now, if a person makes a decision for me and it doesn't work out, doesn't capitalize for me, and things go the wrong way, I mean, I to a degree, it depends on what it is. I understand. But when somebody deliberately does something to you, now we're talking about deliberate now. From what the lady was talking about earlier, obviously her sister did something deliberately to her. So, you feel a certain way about that. Now, if you're at work and somebody makes a decision for you on your day off that doesn't capitalize, that you can't capitalize off of, and you're angry about it, that's a work-related situation. And also it just depends on how long you've known that person. That they made a decision for you. I felt like I knew you long enough. This is what you might have done, and it went wrong. Okay, cool. All right, we can get past that. But when a person deliberately does something, they deliberately violate you. It's hard to really trust that person again. And then they turn around and do something similar again. Okay, for however my intellect takes me to forgiveness, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I have to put myself in the fire again.
Right. I mean, and I think that's key for everything we're saying, because the forgiveness is, once again, it's for us. You know what I'm saying? It's for you. You don't want to be carrying resentment around for this individual and all that, but you don't want to be one of those that just the forgive and forget thing. That has always been problematic for me. So you know, I can forgive the
think
snake, but it's still a snake.
Yeah, I think we kind of touched on this last week when I said that forgiveness is for you, but there's other two sides to that. It's reconciliation and restoration. We can allow people to reconcile, you know, again, or not. And we also have the ability to restore people. That means to place them back in the same position that they were before. So those two things the responsibility falls on you. You don't owe anyone that. So no one can point with any type of thing that says that I have to reconcile and I have to restore. I don't have to do that in my personal relationships. At work, you got to kind of figure out a way to work with each other. But in my personal life, I don't have to. So if you allow someone to continue to in a space that has not first acknowledged the hurt and has changed their behaviors, then if they continue to do it again, then at some point you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, that's my fault. I did that. I can't, you mentioned a snake. I can't play with a snake, and then when the snake bites me, I'm gonna be mad at the snake.
Right,
No,
I'm mad at the snake.
I played with the snake.
Right.
So I did that.
When
right?
that's what the snake do.
That's what
snakes do, right? I can't be mad at a snake for doing what snakes do. so that's you cannot allow. I would never allow a person who, and again, we have to also look at when we say people know what's right or wrong. That's probably subjective in a lot of ways. Because relationships, if you ask one person their scenario and they ask the other person, you can get two different stories. Neither one of them are probably right or wrong. You know what I mean? It's just their perception of that reality that tends it not to work. So sometimes relationships with people just don't work out. That ain't just where you're supposed to be. So it's okay to not be in that space and just move on. That's okay. Sometimes it hurts more when it's family, but I think I read somewhere where they say the most toxic relationships you'll ever have in your life are with family.
Right. Because once again,
y'all, you got my head itching. Okay, so I don't necessarily disagree with anything that you have said. I just, and I guess I would call myself a believer, maybe like a Christian person. That's how I was raised or whatever. And not to say that, I always behave in that way. But what I can say is that people are not disposable. They are valuable and we need them. And especially as it relates to family, listening to the scenarios, listening to the story. And again, this is my opinion, but listening to the stories, it sounds to me like we need to have more conversations with our family members. Because say, for example, Mark said, the situation with someone, and then a person said, well, if that were me, I would do this or that or whatever. It could be that they don't even know themselves how to help you or how to solve a problem, right? So why would we go say to them to ask for help or whatever? But it sounds to me like, some of us, and I'm not pointing anybody here because I'm definitely one where fingers point back to me. We're so sensitive, extra sensitive. If this MF said this to me again, I'm about to do this. I'm about to, we're always ready. I wish a blank would. We're always in that space, especially when it comes to family. And then if something were to happen to the family, we're stuck. Either we feel bad or we walk around with this big heavy thing on us. And my piece is, we gotta figure out how to appreciate our family, appreciate those people that are close to us, have those hard conversations with these people and express to them what it is that we feel. And I know that might sound lofty and it might sound, really in the clouds or whatever, but that is the honest to God truth. We have to figure out a way to do that. We
now,
really
it depends. It depends, sis. Like if you have a close-knit family, that's one thing. Mama or big mama, dinner on Sundays. People have moved away. We meet up with each other 3-4 times a year, and mama say, look, y'all need to figure this out because I don't want a whole bunch of hostility and animosity around these kids when we all get together. Okay, cool. I don't necessarily feel like I need the people. I need the experience, because this is a big world. So how I handled that particular situation when I feel like I was violated, if I don't deal with you anymore, more than likely I'm going to face that somewhere else. And how
Right.
I handled that situation, right? So that's why the gentlemen are saying it's more for you than it is for the other person, because I may, my example would be, if I no longer lived in Virginia, but I was violated a certain way by family or someone else, and then I moved to Wisconsin, and I'm carrying, how I handle that situation is through that stimuli, is how I am better able to adjust to it when it happens again to me down the line.
So that's the reason why it's important to sit down. Me and my sister, we about to sit down. We about to have this. We about to chop it up. We're not leaving this room until we at least come to some resolve. It might be some tears. It might be some furniture moving. It might be a black eye here. No, I'm not saying that, but it may be something that's going to happen. But we're going to leave better than we were. You know what I mean? And again, that might sound easier said than done, but it is a must. We have to do that.
Well,
We
it
have to
depends.
do that.
It depends on the topic, sister. It depends on the topic,
I don't
because what tends to
think
happen is when a person is violated, it depends on if you're dealing with a narcissistic individual, depends on if you're dealing with a psychopathic individual. It just depends on the type of individual that you're dealing with. Because here again, we talked about this earlier in the set here, to where women remember a lot about what you've done. Men remember when they were violated or when they were hurt. So if Dr. Stephanie violates me, and she's my sister, so then I come to her and I say, look, you violated me. And then she goes into this barrage of all these things that she felt like I did to her over a period of time. So then now it becomes more about her and how she's been mistreated. And then we never get to the core of her violating me. Did she violate me because I had done a barrage of things over a quarter period of time? Or did she just do this because that's the type of person that she's grown into? If we don't sit down, and I don't think we necessarily have to have a mediator, we're both adults. If we can't sit down and hash it out and communicate thoroughly, then more than likely we're never going to get along, because I'm always going to remember in the back of my mind how you violated. It's just, and especially if there was no just rhyme or reason as to the reason why you did it.
But
Other than just being, see, vindictive would mean that I did something to you. Retaliatory means I did something to you previous. There was an initiator. But for you to just do something to me, just crazy, I'm probably going to hold on to that. And if I don't hold on to it, I'm probably just going to see you as the possibility of you doing that to me. Like sisters, if one sister sleeps with another sister's boyfriend or her husband, she's never really going to trust her around anybody that she's ever dealt with. You come into the store with me, you ain't staying here with her. Or she come into the store with me, she ain't staying here with you. So, and it doesn't matter if it happened when they were 8, 12, 15, 20 years old. Just, I don't think she's holding on to it. I just think that there's just this mistrust. There's a level that I cannot risk dealing with this particular person again.
Well, not to make light of anything that you said, but Mike, we're gonna go back to when we was kids, and I've been holding this thing in.
oh goddamn.
All of these people, I've been holding this thing in.
Is it because of how you eat cereal?
See, that's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say. You always try to embarrass me in front of all of the people that I love about how I eat cereal, to the point where I don't even eat cereal anymore.
This is not a good sight.
We don't want to do this right here.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you're not supposed to eat cow logs like that. That's just, we don't do that.
But
But what
now,
about them donuts though? What
Well,
about
hold
Can I
how?
say, can I throw this into the mix?
Yes.
So then how do you handle when you're the outsider with siblings who actually are feuding?
now I wanted to bring it up because Mike kind of came up with a solution earlier because he said Big Mama said we need to talk before we get to the family event. See, because this is kind of what we missing. This is what I'm talking about when I said because we said because they family. We're not clear on what family is anymore. I don't think
As you said,
we we're constantly we're just on this because it's my blood thing. We need to be talking about different things. It's easier for me to get along with people on my job because we have a mission in common. It would be easier for me to deal with some of the relatives around me if we have a mission in common. If we don't have a mission in common, you need to get the fuck up from around me. You understand? I want to do something for these kids. I want to leave something for these kids. I don't got time to be having petty arguments with you. But Mike brought up another point because we used to have a lot of matriarchs. I want y'all, because for me, I seen this in my own family. When my grandmother passed away, everybody went their own way. When Mima called, everybody answered the phone and everybody would come. We don't have those people that hold the family together that can sit down and be that intercessory, that person. Now you gonna forgive. You ain't gonna cuss me out. You understand what I'm saying? And we need that sometimes. We need people in our lives like that. But and we're approaching that age. I'm just letting y'all know we're approaching that age. So many of us in the families, and when we come to these family gatherings, we're approaching the age where that Big Mama used to be, and so.
See,
I don't think a lot of us desire that, though. I don't think a lot of us desire to be the big mamas. I don't think a lot of us desire to be pop or grandpa. I don't think people desire to do that.
But we have to find a way to get back to those traditional family values. Again, this is just my opinion, but in my opinion, we have to figure out because those if it was good enough for grandma and great grandma and all of those, and if it kept us together up until this point where now, well, I don't really feel like we should do this, or unless we have a mission together, then I'll have nothing to do with you. I don't agree with that. Like
I think you're prepared. It's almost a fear of raising our kids for a world that no longer exists. So those things were germane to the time because they were necessary. We're not a monolithic people anymore. So there's a difference, and that goes from just outside of the house that actually is within the home. We aren't a monolith. And so
can I say this?
The other piece, one last thing for me too. When the guy brought up when we talk about defining family, and this probably strikes you a little bit, Doc, because so the blood of the covenant is worth more than the water of the womb. So it's the family you choose that's thicker than the one that you're born into. And so I dismiss the notion just because we share chromosomes that I have to be connected to you in that matter, because people are people. There are bad people in this world. We just hate the fact that they may be part of our family. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. And so I think that we have to define who family is. I don't have to be tied to someone because they were birthed through the same mother. I don't have to be. If that person is living, if we're so ideologically opposed to it that our lives go in a different direction, that's okay. That's fine. I'm not mad. Just don't get along, and that's okay. That's all right. I won't see no harm to them. You know what I mean? If I need to step in and help, I can. But a day-to-day relationship with this person that I don't get along with, that I know we are antithetically different from each other, no, I'm not going to do that to myself. I'm not going to do it.
One other question, is it a cultural thing? Is it that because we don't have any that I see, we don't have any that are outside of the African-American culture. Tell me what you think. Is this just innate to us as African-Americans where we feel like, well, the blood of the covenant is more important than the blood of the womb or whatever? does that happen in other cultures? Do we know of other cultures like the Hispanic culture, the Hispanic Latino culture, the white culture? Do they feel this same way about family members? Have we had conversations with them? You know, I'm interested in knowing, is this just, what did you say, germane to us, or is it just innate to us, or is this, you know?
They make old TV series about how they killing each other off and enemies with each other. So this is not specific. It may be different in the nomenclature, how it's set up, how it looks in terms of us, but no race or ethnicity is immune to not talking to family members or not getting along with siblings or not getting along with parents. That's not. I don't think that's a race specific issue.
I think the
It's
first,
not, it's not a culture. It's not a culture thing. It's actually a people thing.
Yeah.
Right.
It is.
I
Because real
actually
quick, I was gonna say this. This is why I admire my wife's family compared to my own family. As much as I love my family and I'm close to my family, her family has a different kind of closeness. It's almost like I feel like I'm in soul food some days when I'm actually with her family. I know more about her family than I know about my own family because of what we're talking about, the closeness that they have for each other. And it's a general closeness. It's not like just because we all got to be together. No, it's like they want to be together. And I love that about her family. I wish I could, and actually I've been trying to figure out how to create that same environment in my own family.
so do you think that what adheses you believe them together from your outside standpoint? Was it a big mama that was there? Was it a pop that was there? Was it, what do you think was the outside from your outside aspect, belief system that there adheres to that particular point?
There was a big mama in the environment, but what she did, she instilled it in all of her girls to be just like her, to actually understand that family comes first. A lot of times we depend on big mamas and big papas to actually be the leader, and they always don't want to be the leader. They just want to be the teacher. Are we learning something from them? A lot of times we don't learn anything from them. That's why things seem to fall off and when they pass away.
Not passing that wisdom from generation to generation, huh?
Did you say not pass? Did you say not pass?
Not passing wisdom, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a person, that's an old person. That's not an elder. Elders, they just have to pass it on. It's just, it has to come, it has to be exuberated from them. Some older people don't know how to communicate effectively to pass on the information. They probably had 30 years of a blackout of being drunkards or crackheads or however it is. They just don't know how to communicate effectively.
Now, usually those usually don't become the big mamas. Now, what I'm saying, what I'm gonna say is, sometimes it ain't just that the elder is not able to teach. It's sometimes some of us young folks wasn't able to learn or willing, because a lot of us, we were trained that we were supposed to escape a lot of that. I'm just saying.
And also, it's interesting because when my wife's one side of her family, the elder lady, Miss Viola, who actually passed away a couple of years ago, one thing I liked about her was that if she had an issue with you, she didn't address you in front of the crowd. She'd pull you in the room and have her own individual conversation with you to make you realize you got to do it this way instead of the way you think you're doing it. She never did it to actually make you look bad. She just did it to make you understand.
Who is this, Miss Viola?
Yes, that carried a lot of weight with me.
I don't know that we respect Miss Viola's anymore. And y'all might have said that when I was saying goodbye to the people on Facebook, but you know, a lot of people get real touchy, as we mentioned earlier, very sensitive. From my experience, get very, very sensitive when someone's trying to tell them how to do right.
But you can see it now, because I see it coming up in the schools, because you can even hear how people talk about their children. Mine. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it's a certain ring on the mind that kind of makes me uncomfortable. It's like, you know, like my car. It's like my child. It's like we look at each other as possessions. We look, I mean, and You gotta, I mean, but that goes, that we could bring all this all the way back to the forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna have to, cause almost an hour.
Let's look at it like this, Hatem. For years, James Evans from Good Times was what most people envisioned, that type of sturdy, abrupt, direct to the point, or I'm gonna whoop your ass type individual, to ensure that JJ and Thelma got together and they squashed their beef. Then it moved on to Bill Cosby and his suave way of communicating what is right and what is wrong, and how, you know, you need to apologize to your sister or to your brother. Then we move into the Martin era. We go past the Martin era into the Medea era. A man dressing up like a woman playing Big Mama, who went from playing the Big Mama ideology and thought process to being a buffoon in relation to how she got her point across, and how they, Tyler Perry tried to communicate, his particular belief systems. So I think that we don't necessarily have the influences, as we were communicating before, in order to be able to keep people at ease. As the gentleman was saying earlier, they don't necessarily have to be my biological in order for me to commit to believe that they're my family. And I definitely agree with that, because a wife obviously is not your sister. She came from a different family, so obviously, they doesn't necessarily have to be your biological in order for that person to be your family.
I show
I
you.
just think that it's hard in a capitalistic society that is extremely perverted, in order for people to stay a monolith as a family, unless they're rooted in something like what Stephanie was calling, I guess the lady's name was Miss Viola, to keep you grounded and rooted. Um, Outside of that, people are territorial. We are aggressive. Here again, we are perverted, and this is a capitalistic society. Sometimes people can't wait for folks to die off. There are brothers that's out in the street right now. People are praying that the police kill so that they can actually get $1 million or $2 million. That's not love. That's not embracing. Doesn't matter how much they say, oh, I wish I had my brother back. I would rather have my brother than this $2-3 million. And they ain't spoke to their brother in 5-10 years. And when they get together, there's an altercation. So they really aren't really being truthful and upfront. So when it comes to the forgiveness aspect, it's hard, man, because people are brutal in their ways of doing things. And it's kind of hard to just get past certain violations, man. It's just, especially when you're an adult and you're grown and you're in your 30s, 40s, and you know somebody just did that just out of spite or just to be aggressive. They're not getting enough notoriety in the family. People are moving away from them, so they have to have some type of shock value. It's just, it's hard. It's hard. And when you feel like you would rather be with people that are not family than to be around someone who took a bath with you, ate off the same plate as you, cried with you at funerals, have the same general experiences as you, sometimes it's just best to just take the stimuli of the particular situation and just move on.
I
Damn.
think I think Cheryl was going to say something. Cheryl, you still here? I know that we kind of
Yeah,
know
I'm
you-
still here, but I think I forgot. But I want to tell Michael has hit all the points tonight. He has, man, he has hit all the points.
Yeah, he is absolutely wonderful, and I'm so thankful to have him as a brother. I wanted to, as we are about to conclude, I wanted us to just kind of talk about real quick how we feel about this conversation. First of all, do you feel at all relieved? Do you feel that you were able to hear something that you could take back with you in your journey of forgiving others, forgiving yourself, or releasing? How do you feel about?
I got a question, sis.
Yes.
Because Mark hit on it earlier. I just want to know, as a collaborative, are we okay with not forgiving?
Yes, sir.
That's that. I mean, just from a personal standpoint, are we? Now, we're not talking about molestation. We're not talking about rape. We're not talking about our brother getting shot. We're not talking about that. What I'm saying is, just the tears of life that you've been on, not from those types of situations. Are you okay with not forgiving?
Nah, I'm not.
Definitely not.
No, I'm okay. I'm not understanding. Are you okay with not forgiving someone?
Giving someone?
Yes. Are you okay with walking away having not forgave that person?
Oh
for
yeah, I'm
what they-
okay with that. I go with that. I thought because the forgiveness piece, I'm gonna stick to what I'm saying. The forgiveness piece is for me. The other person, what they do with it, that's on them, right? But I'm not gonna expose myself to the fuckery. I can't do it. I'm too old. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying.
So you're not going to expose yourself to the fuckery because you're too old, or you're not going to expose yourself to the fuckery because you choose not to deal with that
when I was young,
situation head on.
when I was younger, I would enjoy being involved in some fuckery. You know what I'm saying? It's fun. Sometimes it could be good, but I'm too old for that now. I'm trying to become that big papa. I want to
Right.
be. Some people don't want to claim it or don't want to do it, but that's what our community needs. We need those old people that when they say sit down, you got a room full of younger men that could beat them up. They know they can, but out of respect, they do that. We need that. We got to stand up and we got to be that. So so I can't get involved with a lot of the fuckery and the bitchcraft because I'm moving to another phase of my life.
Okay. Mark, you said it's okay for you to, I mean, you good with if you had a problem with somebody and you needed to forgive them, but you didn't forgive them, you're okay with that. Like you can sleep good at night, right? Literally.
Well,
I mean,
I'm actually more on Brother Hatim's level. I'll forgive you. Now, if you don't accept it, that's on you. Because my spirit tells me to ask for forgiveness. If you refuse to take it, then I'm good. I can move on my life without you being a part of my life anymore.
right. So you can say, hey, I'm sorry. And then you don't accept it, then I'm still going.
I'm not gonna lose no sleep over that.
Me neither. You know I sleep good.
All right. So how do we feel about this discussion tonight? Was it good?
It was a good discussion.
Very good discussion.
Real good.
Good. So I know we're about to go into the holidays. Thanksgiving maybe is not next week, but it's the week after next.
Right.
And then we're gonna have Christmas coming up. So we may be not here for a couple of our Sundays Zoom group coaching sessions, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I appreciate you. I love this. I look forward to our Sundays. I look forward to our Sunday discussions. Michael, you, Hatim, Mark, Jackie, Cheryl, Kathy, y'all, and Chris, and those other people that were here, y'all laid it down. I have something to walk away with and ruminate over, and then just try to figure things out. Myself in terms of forgiveness. Forgiveness is important. you know, Michael, I forgive you. I forgive you in front of all of these people for, you know, eating all my donuts. Like,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah. And you know what else I was thinking about the other day, stuff?
Don't do it.
I was
Don't.
talking to somebody on the phone and they brought up the Easy Bake, the Easy Bake oven. Remember when I used to eat that powder out of that joker?
Oh my
Look,
God. I remember
you
you
know
got
what hey, Hotel, I was slick too, bro. Cause I used to pinch the bottom of the pack and push it out as much as I could. And then I'd be like, it was a manufacturer's defect or something like that. But I love that doggone Easy Bake powder, man. Oh my God. And she would be ticked. And I would lay it flat to make it seem like when she would look at it, make it look like it had never even been touched. And then when she go to make it on one of them days, and you just hear her scream.
Are you saying are you apologizing? Are you asking for forgiveness or are you just trying to hurt me?
No,
he
actually, I'm
enjoyed that.
trying to tell Mark and Hatem how I used to do that. That's me.
Sound like he enjoyed that. See,
I'm not looking for forgiveness. It was good. It tasted good.
He forgave
But when I
himself.
used to get the butt whoopings when Gramps found out, yeah,
You got your butt cut. She cut your butt.
sir. But it was good though. I ain't gonna lie.
And you'll do it again.
I would do it again. We go through a childhood again. I'm doing it again.
Y'all, thank you so much. I think our time might be, it's 8:50, almost 8:15. So I'm not gonna hold you guys up. It's a possibility that we may meet next week. It's a possibility we may not. I know this is the holidays and I'm not gonna hold you up, but I will just go ahead and prepare the flyer for next week. And if there's some changes, then we could go ahead and change midweek. But are all hearts and minds clear? Anybody want to add anything else? I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation tonight.
Hear yourself.
Let me forgive myself.
I'm
That's
just
a good
saying. I'm talking about everybody. You know, we got to forgive ourselves. For that's all I'm just saying. Hey.
Yeah.
Sometimes folks be wrong and forgive themselves.
Well,
They be
that's
like,
true
yeah,
too.
well, I forgive myself.
Well,
I forgive myself.
So you got a point there. So we can say that one for the next show, because you're right. Because there is some wrong people out there that's just because they sleep good too. We all got them in our family.
I want you to send me a picture of that picture in the back, man.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I was supposed to. I'm sorry, Mike.
Yeah, send me a picture of that picture, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, if all hearts and minds are clear, we have Brother Mark that we often ask, will you give us a word to take us on to our next time we meet?
So based on the day's conversation, it actually plays part to what was on my mind over 2 weeks ago. When I think of the political climate we're currently in, we're more worried about the politicians more than ourselves. I think we actually need to understand what our values and beliefs are.
Hello?
Be able to speak on those values and beliefs
Hello?
when you're in front of people, not based on someone else's perception of you. People don't even know who you are. Because we putting too much, we giving the media and other people our power, and they don't deserve our power. We deserve our power. And a conversation like this proves how much power we actually have. Because when you're on an open mic and actually willing to say things that you say, that's power.
That's right.
Doesn't matter how people take it, it's power.
That's right. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Well, I love you guys. God willing, we'll see you on next week. Have a great week.
You everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Good night, everybody.
All right.